Hi everybody, welcome to your monthly unconditional love twin flame masculine feminine reading for the month of October 2015. Welcome to everybody that's been following for a while. Welcome to anybody new. And I want to say thank you for everyone who is here right now, whenever you're here, whenever you're watching this. This is uploaded a couple of hours or a few hours later than usual, I have to admit. 1st of October snuck up on me faster than usual, even though I am aware that there are 30 days in September. April, June and November, all the rest have 31, except for February, which has 28 days clear and 29 each leap year. I am aware of that, but still October the 1st snuck up upon me. The candle is back. The angel wings candle is back. It did take me a little while to rearrange the shot to include the candle again, but it is back and I am glad. And I do love it very much. And I wanted to say, whilst I'm shuffling, that just a little message about love, or what I call love. Because I had the most beautiful experience today. I actually saw 3 separate rainbows today. I don't think I've ever seen 3 separate rainbows in one day. But the weather and the sky was particularly beautiful, particularly full of light and dark today. The first rainbow I saw, I was just in my bedroom and I went to the window, just was drawn to the window and looked out, and this huge expanse of rainbow, perfect rainbow, I was standing right in the middle of. It was just completely framed in my window, and I actually cried because it was so beautiful, and it was as though it was kind of there for me. And then I went about my day and 2 more followed, and it felt like a very blessed, special day. And I had the clarity about love, or what I call love, because the sky was so very dark and light, and it was sunny and it was raining for a good portion of the day. And love, for me, what I call love, really is in alignment with what other traditions have named the middle way. I had this beautiful realization about how a rainbow really is created and really is the embodiment of the darkness meeting the light, the sunshine meeting the rain. And really, it was really about the dark and the light. There was so much dark cloud and then bright blue sky, which seemed impossible. And then these rainbows that just kept appearing. It was really quite stunning. And it was just all that colour and that spectrum and beauty that only really exists in the middle of the two. It's created by the two. And I really thought about how love is, for me, a neutral place. It's the middle way. And there are many people within spirituality, within religion, within life, that are so concentrated on the light. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I myself have a preference for the light over the darkness always. But for me, freedom is walking that rainbow path between the light and the dark, and able to, from that perspective, view the light and view the dark sky, view the sunshine, and you be the rainbow. For me, that is the human condition. And I really wanted to share that with you guys. And when I talk about love, that's what I mean. And it has been and become clear to me through this work, and I want to thank you for that. And since I've been on YouTube, I've been on YouTube for around 9 months now, and I've nearly had 1 million views. I think it might be 1 million soon. I will let you guys know when it hits 1 million. I'll do an extra reading. So do share this with other people. Maybe get this out there. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how many more views I need, but when I hit 1 million, I will do a special celebratory reading. But it has become clear to me through this work and the work that I've been doing over the past 9 months in this vein, and how getting this message out there has transformed it and really given me the clarity about what I am. And I do consider myself to be a messenger of love, and I do believe it is that middle way. Love is able to see everything. It loves everything. It is able to see. And I do believe that human beings are made of that love. I believe that it is the natural state for all of us. And thank you for helping me to find that clarity, and thank you so much for being here. And I authentically love you all, and I'm in so much love today, and in that vibration of love. And these readings for me, they are holders and communicators and a place for that frequency of love. So a bit of a long intro there, but it was important to me. And really it is full of gratitude, and I'm full of gratitude today, and I thank you all. Feels like a special reading for me. Right. I know there's been a few times when I'm shuffling, and even then now, when you might be able to see cards on the bottom of the deck. Some people have actually mentioned that to me. I do notice it, and I don't feel guided to discuss those cards, but if they seem to mean something to you, then let them. Okay. So, good shuffle we've had there. And now, let's get out the reading for the month of October, yes it is October 2016. Right, bottom of the deck, Ace of Swords. This represents for me the truth. Essentially, there is no such thing as truth. Essentially, there's no such thing as fact, because fact is dependent on time. I listened to something today where it was noted that, I can't remember, but it wasn't that long ago in Britain, I think it may have been around the 1870s, something like that, it was believed that human beings could not go faster or create anything that moved faster than 30 miles an hour. That was the fastest it was possible for us to go. I believe it's pretty much faster than that now. But that fact, that scientific fact, which was perceived as scientific fact as that in that time, it's only been out in, less than 150 years, and it really now seems completely nonsensical. So really, there is only one truth, and it is your truth. It can only be felt by you, and it can only be felt in the moment. Some things seem to be true over and over and over again in subsequent moments. But the key is not to attach to a truth, not to attach to anything. That's when we get into trouble. When we attach a story, so we might say, I am a messy person. And then you will become a messy person if that becomes your truth. But really, for me, this message on this card at the bottom of the deck is for everybody to know that you and you alone can know your truth. And that you really can only know it in the moment. It's a very important message in terms of love and in terms of being who you are. And this card invites you for this month to really find your truth that can only be felt. It cannot really be known with the mind. The intellectual mind cannot really know your truth. Your truth can only really be felt. And the body is a much better vehicle for understanding and exploring and knowing your truths than the mind. The mind is beautiful, a very beautiful thing, and it is useful for very, very many things. But when it comes to the truth, it will always give you more questions rather than answers. So, I'm going to do the masculine on this side and the feminine on this side. So let's get going. First card for the masculine we have is the Hierophant. Second card, the Chariot, Major Arcana. 2 Major Arcana so far. Third card, the Nine of Pentacles, one of my favourite cards. Fourth card, Temperance, another Major Arcana. There's some big stuff going on. Let's just put this up a little bit so we can see that clearly. First card for the feminine, the Ten of Pentacles, gorgeous card, one of my favourites. Second card, the Three of Wands. Third card, the Page of Swords. Fourth card, the Five of Swords. Hopefully you can see that all pretty clearly. Crowning, the energy the feminine brings, the energy the masculine brings, and the root energy we will turn over a little bit later. Okay, and as I said, card on the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Swords. You being in your truth is the most important thing. So I want to just say something again about that. In terms of relationships, it doesn't really matter who the other person thinks you are in that relationship. It matters that you know who you are. If you love somebody, then you love them. It doesn't matter if they love you back, basically. You don't need anybody else to give you permission to tell you who you are in regards to them. So if you feel like somebody is your twin flame or somebody is your soulmate, whatever, the terminology is irrelevant to me. There are definitely phenomenons around different types of relationships that we have labelled, but essentially it really is just about you and who you love. But if you feel like you are that person's soulmate, or you are their woman, or you are their man, or you associate with that, that's for you to associate with. Essentially it has nothing to do with them, and it's for you to own. That's the first kind of message. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on specifically. So, sorry, a bit of a bump there. So, the masculine and the feminine start off for this month really on the same page. There is a huge opportunity here for connection and togetherness, and I'm going to say marriage because these two cards really specifically, when they come up in readings, they mean marriage. If you're watching this reading and you're interested in love and you're interested in another, you are on a path whereby you have an opportunity to recreate, rebirth the concept of marriage within society. We're talking about marriage here in unconditional love. We're talking about a commitment to unconditional love. We're talking about creating a bond and a team around unconditional love, not around codependence, not around social connections. For a long time, or in recent times, marriage has been a social agreement rather than a love agreement. It was either made by families or, it was definitely some kind of social joining together. People often marry to raise their status socially. And so, for example, well, we don't really need to use an example. But what I'm trying to get at is it's like we're collectively, or if you're watching this, moving out of that use for marriage and into a marriage and a commitment and a connection and a team effort that's built around freedom and love. So all of these, there are people that have connections or they fall in love with people that there seem to be differences with. So there are age differences, there are cultural differences, there is distance between them, there's lots of different things. And so really that's about overcoming social issues or societal issues or things to do with our conditioning in society that isn't really conducive to our thriving, and overcoming that and rewriting the story of marriage together. And it feels like we're both on the same page. The Hierophant really is about that structure. The masculine is very, very much now moving into a place where he wants structure. He wants structure in his life. That tower energy, and there is a lot of it going on, falling apart, letting things go. The masculine has let all that go now. He's let the ideas that he had around relationships kind of fall away. He came into this free place, and now he wants to build some structure around it, and it's great. The feminine is ready too. The feminine is ready to step into a togetherness, to be seen, to be a team, to create a legacy. The Ten of Pentacles also is about abundance. It's also about financial and material wealth. And I do feel like this was quite a big story for the feminine, that she needed to or wanted to get into a position where she just felt more secure. Essentially, that doesn't really have anything to do with amounts. It's about how we feel within it. And the feminine does feel like she's more secure. And she needed that for herself. Because it's not about codependency. It's not about financial codependency either. It's not just about emotional codependency. It's about transcending, to being dependent or needy upon another in any way. That doesn't mean that we can't share resources. It actually means the opposite. We can only really truly share resources without this idea of need, because otherwise there's this lack understanding and this lack feeling, which actually can cause us to be manipulative and not really free to give or to receive. Need and lack is not a very generous vibration, and really it should all be about generosity and sharing, not needing to get something back in return. So the masculine and feminine are on a very similar page. For me, these are very similar vibrations, very similar energies, very similar cards. The masculine kind of trumps it a bit. He's more going for it, going for that structure. And it is a good structure, I can feel it. It's good, it's structure around freedom. It seems like a paradox, but it's not. It's a new structure that's being built upon on true love, rather than all the conditioned ideas about what we thought relationships should have been or be. What I love about the second card on the masculine side is that it does feel like a continuation of that energy, and it's the Chariot, and it's a go, go, go card, and it's going together, it's yin yang, it's, again, as I talked about the darkness and the light, look at those sphinxes there. This is about taking that teamwork, creating this vehicle together and really going on a journey together in this structure. And it really is that when the masculine meets that structure and wants that structure, he then gets this motivation to fly, and to fly with the feminine. It really is a very together energy. The masculine does feel like he is kind of in control, for want of a better phrase. These are just two very big energies. All, 3 major arcanas, no major arcana on the feminine side. So these are big energies here, and so he is in the driving seat with that Chariot. And when that Chariot, meets this 3 of Wands here for the feminine, the 3 of Wands is about waiting for your ships to come in. So the feminine is waiting for some kind of information. It doesn't necessarily need to be from the masculine, but she's waiting for something. And she will receive it. It is incoming, but she may have to wait to receive something before she can go on this journey with the masculine. It may be from him, it may be somewhere else. She needs to be in receipt of something. Again, I'm also getting that the masculine is the one to be making that communication as well, is the one to kind of say, is in the driving seat, and you can see, it is a masculine figure in there, and the masculine is in the driving seat, and the feminine is in receipt of something. That 3 of Wands is about receiving. This is an interesting message again for the feminine, about it sometimes being easy to give love unconditionally, but is it also easy? Can it also be easy for us to receive love unconditionally? Can the feminine receive love from the masculine, no matter what that looks like? Because sometimes love can turn up in interesting packages. If, as I said, love is that middle way, it doesn't necessarily need to look good. If love is the rainbow, if love is the spectrum, and then there's this light and dark, it doesn't mean love can perceive and does perceive and operate within both. So it's about letting love be present in essentially our perception of dark or our perception of unwanted, because really it's all about our perception. So, can the feminine receive from the masculine? Can she let it be love, even if it doesn't seem like something she wishes to receive or be in, if that makes sense? There is a chance here for some people, for some feminine, or people that relate to the feminine energy here, to reject or bat off or bat away the masculine being in control here, being with the bigger energies here. She might bat away the idea of marriage and togetherness. She may bat away. She's kind of batting away love though, however it's being presented, because there does feel there's a huge amount of love here. It's quite structured and it's quite focused, but I do feel like these two here, it's like the feminine waits for something, and then when it comes in, it's kind of, she bats it away like it's not good enough. So the feminine needs to be careful for this month of October to maybe try and receive love unconditionally as much as she can. Throughout the month, there is this connection though. There is this, we're on the same page-ness. It's about shifting our perception to find that harmony between the two of us. But yes, there is a chance that the feminine may not wish to receive what the masculine is offering her. My advice would be receive it, let it be love. Let it all be love. Because if this is love, and you believe in this connection, if you believe that it is a masculine-feminine counterpart, if you believe that this is a balanced, harmonious, beautiful team, then we must let it evolve and be and teach us in any way. We must love us unconditionally. We must love this unconditionally. We must let it do as it wants. And open our perception up to how love may be hiding in that darkness sometimes. It really is about extending that rainbow out into those two extremes. The third energy we have here on the masculine side is the Nine of Pentacles. I love this card. It really is about contentment and fullness and contentedness and springtime and new beginnings and abundance in a feminine way. There's a feminine figure on this card. It's a peaceful abundance. The masculine is moving into balance. There's a lot of balance here. There's structure and there's balance. And I'm glad for him because I think it's been a bit tumultuous. It's been a bit the tower. It's been a bit things falling away, falling apart, things not seeming quite so clear. He can sometimes look like a swan on the water and look graceful and look like he's in control, but be, a little bit chaotic underneath the waterline. And I feel like this month it's all kind of falling into place for him. And he is coming into balance. It just feels very balanced but focused. It's a great, this feels very middle way over here. There's a little bit more back and forthness energy here with the feminine. There's a little bit more movement between maybe what we would call the light. Maybe there's just a little bit more veering into the light and the dark, or if we can perceive it as what we do want and what we don't want. Those perceptions. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's all about finding clarity and finding our truth. In many ways, this can be more helpful. So it doesn't really matter, but if we work together, if we communicate, then that's how it works beautifully, because when one of us is going through some maybe tumultuous, slightly more unsure, swinging from one place to the other rather than feeling like we're on that middle way, if we can connect with this strength here, if the feminine can connect with the masculine strength, if she can allow that to be part of her life, if she can allow this to support her no matter what, she's much more free to explore that. It really is about working together so that when we want to explore some contrast to find our truth, we are supported by the other because they are feeling secure. And there's an opportunity for that this month. Fourth card for the masculine, temperance. It's balance, it's togetherness. It's masculine, feminine moving together, and it really does feel like there's good balance here. Like I said, there's a kind of quite masculine structured card in the Hierophant. There's a quite feminine card in the Nine of Pentacles. There's two in here. There's a kind of balance here, but also a bit of masculinity there. But then a kind of asexual figure really in the Temperance card, but this does indicate for me the flow of the two. Also, this card for me is connected to the Two of Cups, and that really is that flow of love between the two of us there. So it's balanced, it's soothing, it's healing. The masculine heals the feminine this month. Really feel that with this energy. The fourth card the feminine has on her side is the Five of Swords. And this, for me right now, in my personal private readings that I do for people, as it shows up very often representing a guilt energy, that there's some kind of guilt. I do feel that it is actually directed towards the masculine. I think there is going to be some clarity for the feminine this month about the masculine. I think she may feel as though she has judged him harshly. And not just him, us, this, the togetherness. She has judged him and she feels bad about it. He isn't bothered. He's found his balance, and he understands that he doesn't really need anything. And it's okay. He feels like very, very much feels like there's a support here for the feminine this month. It really feels like that masculine energy is really stepping up in a very strong way. And it really is up to the feminine to really receive this month. Really, really receive. And be careful not to bat away anything coming your way. The love and the abundance that is really trying to rush towards the feminine. Really focus on maybe taking a little step back and how can I receive this? Where is the gift here? I do feel like some guilt will come up when the feminine does receive. There is a chance that this Page of Swords energy may kick in and she could be harsh in her words. That page is newly gifted with this sword, this beautiful sword of truth that can cut through, can be cutting. But it really does feel like in this way that it's placed in this spread, that she's using it to, her tongue, her sharp tongue, to disregard and maybe reject some love from the masculine in some way. And it's important for her to notice if and when she is doing that, and important for the masculine to maybe not take her so seriously, but I think he's going to be okay because he feels really, really so secure over here. He feels very secure over here. And don't be afraid of this guilt energy. It's also a victory, you know, there's the swords here, they really feel like victory, the swords in this spread so far. The swords are mental, the swords are thinking. Sometimes in the other cards they show up, and they show up as a kind of difficulty or as a resistance, but they really feel like they represent truth. And I think that, especially for the feminine, she's going to find that she's picking up lots of truth here this month. Things are going to be uncovered this month. She's going to find out things. But she's going to find out things that are great, that she may not have been aware of. Her own judgment, I think, of things is going to come up for herself and for the masculine, and maybe for love itself. Maybe she will be seeing how she has been rejecting love. It seems like that. Let's turn over the crowning energy. Is the World. How beautiful. Lovely, beautiful Major Arcana card. This is completion. This is togetherness. This hooks up extremely well with the Hierophant, with the 10 of Pentacles, and then the World there. And I feel like they're a bit of a trilogy. And I want to say, go for it. If you can believe, there's a huge opportunity this month for people to really open themselves out to working together. And it is about balancing those energies for yourself too. But it really is about harmony. And there's a huge opportunity for harmony here. And I feel like it's kind of saying, if we just step back and have a little bit broader of a perspective, then we'll be able to work in harmony together in a very strong way. That crowning energy, it really is an excellent sign. It says that things are going to be good, things are going to look good, things are going to be becoming whole. It's about wholeness. It is about freedom. It's really about a sense of freedom and joy, and it really is about knowing who you are. It's very closely related to the Ace of Swords, and this is what love is about. True love is about standing in front of a mirror. It shows us as much as we can about ourselves. It shows us everything. It's a mirror with the clearest mirror that exists. And it's beautiful that we see ourselves. And we need others to show us sometimes aspects of ourselves that we just cannot see. If there were no mirrors, we really would have difficulty knowing much about ourselves. To use the metaphor, purely physically, if we had no reflective surfaces, we wouldn't know what we looked like. And it would be difficult to put your makeup on if you're a woman, or a man that likes to wear makeup, or dress, or any of those things. We really do need those reflections to fill in the gaps of what we can't see ourselves. And this is what relationships are about. This is what true love relationships are about. And this can be for any true love relationship. And that doesn't have to be romantic, because love is so much more than just romance. Romance is part of the pie, but the whole pie is just a stunning spectrum of all of life. And this is what that world card really represents, the whole pie. The whole pie is here. If you want it, grab it. That's really there in that world card. Let's look at the root energy. The root energy is the Knight of Wands. Interesting. That's he's my Knight of Passion. This is a very sexual energy. There's some great stuff here this month. Really, really great stuff. I just feel like there's passion, there's flow, there's knowing, there's attraction, there's a strong sexual attraction driving things this month as well. Don't devalue sex within any true love connection. Often people can believe that if it feels like it's purely sexually driven, then it's not true love, or it's not real, or it's not emotional, or it's not soulful, or it's not spiritual, or it's not holy. There has been a lot of celibacy existing within traditions, and there's a lot of celibacy that exists within true love connection sometimes, especially if there's a separation, if there's a physical separation. But I do not feel separation here. There is so much scope for togetherness, and allow that sexual desire to drive the attraction to one another.
There's a strong sexual attraction here. It does feel like maybe it's made more from the masculine. I really feel like there's this kind of traditional thing going on here where the masculine seems quite action oriented, so they seem to be giving, and the feminine energy feels like she needs to receive. I mean, it's a very kind of sexual, easily understood sexual kind of aspect to it as well, as though the masculine wants to, you know, enter the feminine. That could be sexually, purely in that way, but it could be in other ways. And it really is important that the feminine allows the masculine to penetrate her emotionally, because I'm getting that the feminine hasn't really been allowing the masculine to penetrate her emotionally. And really that's what this month is about. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be attached to the sexual act, but it could be. I mean, what we really want is the two working together. It's very powerful. It's probably one of the most powerful things that exists, I believe. What I'm getting here feels that way. The energy the feminine brings here is the Emperor. That's very interesting. So again, that kind of backs up this idea that the feminine may be batting off the masculine with her masculinity in a way, with her control. Be careful. It does feel like sometimes the feminine can confuse assertiveness with rejection. It feels like, to be honest, like she wants to be in control, and really the message is there's more balance here. But I do feel as though it's a little bit of the way the masculine and feminine energies work. You know, if there's two positive, so if there's two pluses, two positives, if we think about electromagnetism, if there's two, or batteries even, you know, positive to positive, it doesn't work. Positive and negative work together to create a neutral force. So if love is a neutral force, then you know, something needs to fit into something else. Something needs to be giving and something needs to be receiving. So if there are two positives, or two things trying to, you know, be doing, they will come up against one another. They will not be harmony. So the message in there is, yes, be assertive. And I feel like it's the feminine learning to be who she is, who she truly is, independent, not needy, but at the same time able to receive. It's a tricky thing. But she can do it. Because she can be assertive within that too. But don't bat away the masculine because you're trying to be too independent. That's kind of what I'm getting. And for the masculine, it's kind of, you may perceive that the feminine really is being quite hard, and as though you can't really break through her barrier to get to her truth and her emotional vulnerability, innocence. And really it is about the feminine getting into contact with that. And it's there. Don't push it. Don't push it if you're resonating with either. Card the masculine brings in is the Eight of Pentacles. He is willing to work at this. He's willing to put the work in. He's willing to put the work and the focus and the effort. He is willing to take the action and do what he needs to do to create this 10 of Pentacles. If we look at it, we've got the 8 here, putting the work in to get to the 9, to get to the 10, to get to the feminine over here, to get to the marriage, to get to the legacy, to get to the togetherness, to get to the abundance. The masculine is really willing to put the work in. And it does feel like he's kind of willing and may need to put the work in terms of just being there, present and giving, being whoever he is in his truth again, always be in your truth, and working to be there enough consistently for the feminine to receive. And it is up to the feminine to be open to receiving and to soften and to relax and to allow the masculine to love her in the way that he wishes to love her. Whatever package that shows up in. And to really open the perspective, to really see how love may operate. Because this balanced kind of neutral love that I'm discussing here, it may not be what we expect in love, because it's not all about good things. And we get into trouble when we believe that love is all great good things and that there are no bad or downsides to love. We live in denial in that way. So it really is about allowing love to be everything, because that's what love is. Or really, rather, it is the perspective whereby everything can be seen. It's the place, so it's the middle place where we can see and enjoy the entirety of life. And so it does feel like the feminine may perceive this neutrality as not love, because it's not what she perceives as good. Let's pull an outcome card. 6 of Cups. So that's a lovely card of returning to truth, it feels like. And it's of connection. It's about messages. It's about people in separation coming back together. Messages from people that have been separate for a while. I'm getting a message that there may be some people that have perceived that they have been separate from their love or in separation from their love that will be receiving messages. There will be a return. For me, there's a really big shift going on from now, October, November. This shift of the season, and this is shifting into something very different. There's a big wave now where people, especially if you're on this team, I have a lot of clients that are in very union... very happy unions, or very harmonious situations, and I do feel like it's kind of there's a big push at this time, and it is about worldwide collective energies as well. It's very important that we really do learn to love one another in this way. But yes, I'm just really hearing the return. This month it's about the return. Right, now I'm just going to pull the Rumi card for this month. So 1 second. Give these a bit of a shuffle through. I hope you have been enjoying the weekly Rumi readings. If you haven't had a look at those, have a look. And just a quick message whilst I'm shuffling that the weekly Vimeos are going to be going up a little bit earlier, probably about 12 to 14 hours earlier. So that may be a Saturday for some people rather than a Sunday, but it's because I want it to be available on a Sunday to everybody in the world, and in, you know, people that are in the Eastern Hemisphere, I want it to be available earlier. So it will be available maybe on a Saturday for many. Right, so the Rumi. Beautiful. Wow. We've had this one before, I think. It's a very auspicious number. It's the 11, and it is sacred convergence. Roaming about town, the master is holding a light, saying, I am weary of the demons and the beasts. A human is what I am longing for. The human cannot be found. We have searched. What cannot be found is what I am longing for. Although poor and needy, I will not accept small pieces of ruby. The mine of the finest rubies is what I am longing for. One hand holding a cup of wine, and the other the curls of the beloved. A dance like this, in the middle of the circle, is what I am longing for. How I have longed for you, my very own. Look no further, for the family beyond your family, the relationship beyond all other relationships, the great love that unveils all other loves to be mere reflections of the one great and true love is here, for you, now. It is I who has sought you through the stirrings of your own heart. Yes, 'twas I, hidden beneath every secret, yearning for something more, something full, something special, something all-encompassing. Behind every yearning always I have hidden. Now I show myself to you, that you may become so filled with the same passionate devotion that I hold for you, that your mind will fall away, overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of love tossed into an ocean of silent, unending bliss. Come to me. We are to be one now, in sacred convergence of silent, eternal passion. Sacred convergence indicates a coming together of souls in alignment with the greater cause. The greater cause is both personal and impersonal. There is an aspect of joining together for common purpose, although that purpose may not be immediately obvious at a level of day-to-day consciousness. That common soul purpose may be to lift each other into greater love and self-belief, to shed fear and open the heart, filling each individual soul with more holy fire for its personal, passionate purpose. You'll have a sense when this process is happening. There will be a coming together of you with the like-minded souls who hail from all walks of life, and yet together, through some invisible genius, you will help each other. You may simply be dancing in the same room, or singing in a group, attending a class or workshop, or just visiting the same beach or parkland, but at that moment there will be a sense of something coherent and nourishing happening at a far greater level. The trickle-down effect into your personal life will be felt too. You'll have more energy after spending time with these people, even if you don't interact very much on a personal level beyond being in the same space. You'll feel empowered to step forward on your path and love yourself with less conditions. You'll be freer to shed your fears, let go of relationships based in fear and judgment, and open up to those more loving, responsive, and inspiring to continue on your personal journey in increasingly profound ways. This oracle has come to you because you are part of a greater sacred convergence happening now. Perhaps you have already sensed its progression, or perhaps it will not be obvious to you, but the effect, whether obvious or subtle, will be important to your soul development and divine awakening. You are being asked to drop defences and barriers towards groups of people that feel good for you. However, those that dampen your spirits or drag you down are to be dispensed with, no matter what games of blame or manipulation they may play to keep you coming back for more. No, that shall not do for your soul growth now. Just step away. Turn towards those connections that feel nourishing to your soul and learn to share yourself without fear. Just be. You do not have to force the planets to spin nor the great cycles of the soul to happen. All that is required is that you show up for what is offered to you now. Do your part, take your steps, dance, sing and be, and allow the gifts of sacred connection to change your world, for this is the spiritual gift presented to you now. This oracle comes with a special message. Perhaps you have been thinking about shedding lower vibrational connections based in the ego world of power games, sabotage, manipulation and fear. Perhaps you have already begun this process, or even shed so many you are fearing you might have over-pruned to be left with nothing and no one. Do not fear, feisty angel of love. Your truth is prevailing. You cannot stay in a vibration of fear if you want to dwell in a vibration of love. Whilst you learn to sustain that vibration within you until it cannot be rattled by any crisis or demand, you are wise to place yourself in more nourishing connections. If you want a plant to grow, why not give it the best soil and conditions in which to do so? Certainly the plant of love can and will grow in the most inhospitable conditions, but it can be rather more joyful to grow in gentler, more nourishing conditions if possible. This oracle comes to you with guidance that the possibility for more joyful relationships and growth of love within is in your power. You can choose each day, each moment. Just make a choice. Trust yourself, your discernment, and your intuition, and choose. You do not owe anyone anything. Repeat this law of karma. You only owe love the chance to grow. So let that be your guiding principle now as you release the old, and trust that even if your garden of relationship becomes sparse for a while, you have been cutting back unhealthy plants to allow for new life to flourish. It is only a matter of timing for the season of new life and growth to come again, and so it shall, bringing with it sacred convergence of souls on the path of love, your soul tribe, your soul family, your new tribe of those journeying upon the path of love. Sacred honouring ritual. Rumi, who loves me unconditionally, I open to your grace. I hereby declare I am willing to release those connections that no longer serve my spiritual growth on the path of love. I release relationships based in fear and am open to those based in love. I surrender the need to know, to judge, to assert control, and to be in the right. I open up to tolerance, intuition, and honouring of my heart. I open to love. Show me the way, brother of my soul. Guide me through your grace into the sacred convergence of my soul and divine love in its most gracious expression, now and always. I call in my soul tribe of love, and I open my heart to nourishing connections in all ways now. So be it. Close your eyes and relax with your hands resting on your heart. Do this for however long feels good for you. When you are ready, simply open your eyes and you have completed your sacred honouring ritual. So that backs up this for me. This is a time of sacred convergence. It doesn't come more clear than that. And it is about a collective and personal responsibility. If we do not look after and balance ourselves, we will never be able to perceive a balanced world. if we are able to welcome and experience the darkness and the light within ourselves, if we can allow ourselves to be the rainbow, we can then perceive that in the world. If you would like to heal the world, or if you would like to perceive the world as a rainbow, rather than a place of darkness and light that are constantly battling, it is up to you to be that rainbow. And it is up to you to allow the connections and the people that are meant to be in your life to be in your life, and to let go of your personal will in so many ways. To really allow life to happen. Because this is when what we could call union or togetherness just happens organically. When we trust that who we are is on this team. When we know ourselves. And it's about being in a team together. And I do believe that these sacred partnerships, talking about the marriage here, and the Hierophant is about a high spirituality, high holiness, which I believe we are all made of, and it's just up to us to realise. These connections really are about anchoring love in relationship to one another. And when we come into partnership together with somebody in that place, we are extremely powerful in terms of spreading that out into the whole world. So it's about doing that first within ourselves, then with another, and then hopefully with the other almost 8 billion other that exist. Thank you so much for watching. This felt like a really, really powerful reading. Please share this. Please share this. Share this with someone that you may not think is into this stuff. Be brave with this. Be brave with yourself. Be brave with your truth. I truly love you all. I can feel you. And thank you so much for your support. Check out the weekly Vimeo readings. They're different. And there's a group there. And if you're part of that group or you feel drawn to that, please give that a go. And you are supporting me in my work in building a future for humanity built in love. If you would like to know what I am focused upon in my being, what I've surrendered to, it is that. That is what you are supporting. I love you all very much. Have a great October, and I shall see you again soon.